All right, so I'm blessed to be joined by Mark Kaye. I found Mark. We were in a mastermind together, and he was talking Snapchat, and I'm like, oh, dear God, finally somebody in their 40s that can explain Snapchat to me, because I'm not getting it when the kids start sharing it with me. So first off, real quick, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us how Snapchat came to be, and then I don't want to waste your time. I want to jump in and see how we can monetize this thing.
Yeah, Rick, first of all, thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. I've been a big fan of yours for years. And Taylor's, of course. We're scheduled to go to the concert in Atlanta with the kids. Their first show. It's going to be awesome.
Now, you were part of the team that she wrote letters to early on.
Oh, yeah. I got a letter from her. I sure did. I met her backstage, and I was baffled when I came back to the radio station a week later, and she wrote me saying, thank you for coming backstage, thanking me like I had anything better to do that night.
Sure.
But it was a fantastic touch and something I've never forgotten. And really, a big part of how artists should be using not just, regular media like letters and phone calls, but social media and Snapchat, definitely. About me.
Why do you think that most people don't use it as an engagement tool and only use it as a promotion tool? I always say that. It's like, vote for me, do for me. I'm like, we hate our friends who are like that. Why use social media? It's supposed to be social.
Right. People often forget that media is broadcasting. Social is talking. And you put the two together, you've got a recipe for success. I did a blog post about a year ago, which went viral. It was called Snapchatters versus Snapcasters. And there's a lot of people on Snapchat who just broadcast. I call them Snapcasters.
Okay.
They just go on there and say, here's my concert. Here's my Vine video I just posted. Here's what I want you to buy. And they never chat. In fact, they will lock out the comment feature. So if you ever try to write to these people, you can't get through. Now, I know they're busy and they can't see every Snapchat, but the people who are super successful, the people that really kill it on Snapchat, are the ones that leave that open. And every now and then, imagine you're a fan,
sure,
and you go to your Snapchat and all of a sudden it says, Taylor Swift, Austin Mahone, and you look at it and they're just giving you a thumbs up, or they're saying, hi, Katie. You will win them over for life. Till the time they're 50, 60 years old, they will be buying tickets to your show because of that 1 second Snapchat you sent them years ago. So interacting one-on-one with Snapchat is the most important part of the app. And unfortunately, it's the one part that a lot of artists refuse to use or just don't take the time to use.
I haven't found a lot of stuff out there that really teaches it. I thought it was all about putting devil ears on dogs and writing woof and stuff. It's like that's all I see because of Sean Duras, who I love. He's very funny. But I haven't really seen anybody say, hey, as an artist, since this is where the younger kids are hanging out, this is how you can get involved in the conversation.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I love putting devil ears on dogs and things like that. That's a big part of Snapchat. But what you basically touched on is something that Snapchat offers that none of these other apps do, and that is not just a photo or video of yourself, but your chance to add that editorial comment, that inside joke that we're all thinking of. Brittany Ferlin, who's a Vine star, does this brilliantly. She uses all the text and all the little writing to basically put in your mind what you are thinking or what she's thinking, even though she could be in some regular setting. It's a great way, again, for artists to let you backstage. If you're an artist and you're at a concert and you're taking video of somebody that's super serious, or you're taking video or a selfie with another artist or a manager or a fan, you can use that little bit of text or you can use that drawing tool to add whatever comment you want and build a bond again with your audience. I like to draw hair on myself a lot.
Sure.
Sometimes I'll even just post a picture of myself and say, hey, screen cap this, draw a hair on me and send it back. And I get hundreds and hundreds of people who just like to doodle a do on me.
Now, how hard is it? Because I read one of your blogs that you wrote. I was in like Business Insider or one of the interviews in Billboard. It said it's not like Twitter or Instagram where you can just go and see who all these people are following and what they're doing and see a scroll of what they've done to see if they're even interesting enough to follow. There's work involved in
and that's
building your Snapchat audience.
It's the best and the worst thing about Snapchat. If you want to follow somebody on Snapchat, there is no follow button. There's no URL you can copy and paste. It's a very labor-intensive process. You have to, A, find out what their Snapchat username is.
Right.
B, actually type it in, and then you have to tap another button to add them. So what that means, though, for the artist or the or whatever content creator is that if somebody takes the time to do all that, they really, really, really want to follow you. They really want to see your stuff. And if they do that and then watch you, they're engaged. They are a diehard fan. And I tell people this all the time. One Snapchat follower is worth 1,000 Twitter followers. Because most Twitter followers will follow you, but you get lost in their feed.
Right.
With Snapchat, when you get a view, that person has had to make a conscious effort to view your material, so you know that they are a true diehard fan. And if they take the time to snap you, then now they're engaging you. Just take a second to engage them back. Again, that's how you build your audience. That's how you build your fan base.
How would you use Snapchat? Let's say that I've got an artist that's got some free music and they would love to get them over to their website. How would you take Snapchat right now to get me to your website to download some free music so we can continue to build that relationship?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at the easiest process, if you have a fan base on any other medium,
yep.
I would first of all push them to Snapchat.
Okay.
I would, give a couple of fun snaps, let them see inside your life, the tour bus, let them see where you're eating, let them see the things that you can't see anywhere else, and then offer at the bottom the URL and say, hey, look, here is a copy of my album on my website. Go check it out. I've done, from the
Sure.
radio industry, every now and then we'll get albums to give away. Now we get digital download codes.
Right.
And what I do is I'll go on my Snapchat and say, hey, everyone, at 12 noon tomorrow, I'm going to post 20 codes. And when they're gone, they're gone. And then I wait a day. I create a Snapchat picture. I write down all the codes and I post it. Well, everybody's been waiting for 12 noon. They go on there like in a frenzy. They screen cap my image so that they can try all the codes, and they're
Sure.
going through every single code trying to figure out which one has not been used. It's a great way to not just give something away, but pre-promote it, add like a frenzy around it, make it a real event. And then the best part is once the codes start going, they interact with each other, and they'll write me back and say, I got code number 2, I got code number 4. I've done this on Instagram. I've done it on Facebook, and it's really a cool way to give away free stuff.
Now, why wouldn't someone, I've watched your Snap talk show, which I think is very funny, and there's a lot of editing, and there's a lot that goes into that. Why wouldn't someone just use Periscope?
Periscope is different than Snapchat because it's long form. And the audience on Periscope is very different than Snapchat. Snapchat folks are looking for a quick little hit. They just want to see what you're doing. If it's more than 100 seconds, my first talk show, my Talk and Snap is my talk show. The first episodes ran about 200 seconds, which doesn't seem long when you
Sure.
think about it. But for the Snapchat audience, they weren't going all the way through, and I've cut it down to now about 120 seconds, which is optimum. If you want to do a story, make it between 100 and 120 seconds for optimum impact and follow-through. After about 120 seconds, people kind of drop off. With Periscope, what you're doing now is you're hitting a different audience. These aren't people looking for a quick hit. These are people who want a long-form interview. These are people who want to see an entire performance. They're both great platforms, very similar,
Right.
but used for different scenarios. The thing with Periscope is you have instant interaction as well, so that you can see questions, answer them specifically. I would use Snapchat to promote a long-form Periscope Q&A.
Okay.
It's basically Periscope's like a live Reddit. I've seen John Mayer did a Periscope with Andy Cohen. My wife was all into it because she loves both of them.
Right.
And he was answering questions about everything, his tattoos, his past relationships. Somebody said, hey, will you sing something? And John Mayer just started singing on Periscope. And rest assured, every woman and a lot of the guys watching just passed out in their chair.
Sure.
So you've got two different uses for two different apps, both very important as you're building your music career and interacting
So
with
the
fans.
snaps disappear after a certain amount of time, so what about someone like Taylor who has an international audience? So just because she did something, she may post a snap while half of her following is sleeping. So
yeah, the
good
thing about Snapchat
counteract
is,
that?
Well, the thing with both Snapchat and Periscope is they both live for 24 hours.
Okay.
So if I took a snap right now and posted it, it would expire in exactly, it's like 10 to 2. So 10 to 2 tomorrow, that thing would be gone.
Okay.
Everybody, when they wake up, unless you sleep for 24 straight hours,
Sure.
which a lot of people do, you're not going to miss it. So there is an opportunity, and you'll see as the day goes on how your view count increases. Periscope is the same way. Once your Periscope is over, there is a replay available, again, for 24 hours, which is why these two apps are so similar. 24 hours seems to be a great amount of time for people to still stress, hey, there's immediacy involved. You've only got a day to watch it, and also give them enough time to actually portion out a part of their day to watch it.
Will your snaps get stored? Will your snaps get stored? Like I can store my Periscopes to my camera feed on my phone and utilize it later. Is there the same concept to recycle great snaps that worked, or?
Absolutely. I take all my snaps and I save them. You can download individual photos.
Oh, wonderful.
Or what you can do now is there's a button where you can download your entire story. So if you have a 200 or 300 second story that you've built over the course of a day, you can download it. There's a new app called Slinger, which allows you to re-upload those snaps, and it's an online database where you can go and search. I've started putting all my Talk and Snap shows, Talk and Snap shows on there as well, and people on Slinger are loving it again, and they're watching these things over and over again. So as these apps progress and get more and more popular, there are going to be tons of ways for you to repurpose your content, which you definitely should. Now, the other thing is, you can screen cap anybody's photo. This was a big, people always say you can't save a snap. You can. And as if I, for example, took a photo and Rick, you screen capped it, I would know that you screen capped it. Okay. But a lot of artists use this in a creative way by creating games. Imagine you're trying to figure out an album cover, and the artist or the graphic artist gives you 4 or 5 samples. Take pictures of all of them, put them on Snapchat, and tell your audience, hey, screen cap your favorite, and whichever one gets the most screen caps wins. So now just taking a screenshot is a way for you to vote and help your favorite artist create their next album cover. I mean, you could do it for T-shirts. You could do it for where's my next concert. It's a great way to make the app interactive.
Well, one of the things that I tried sharing with people, I remember when I was first working with Jacob Whitesides, and he was like, Rick, there's no way my following is going to go on Facebook. I said, well, here's the deal. You can't build a relationship in 140 characters. I don't care who you are on Twitter. I said, but let's try this. Why don't you say, hey, guys, get over to Facebook, start asking me questions. I'm coming over to answer all of them. And he did that the first time. And he saw, now he's over 1 million people on his Facebook page. As I said, listen, the fans will go where you are. So that goes back to this, is that if we know the fans are on Snapchat and we know they get bored after 100 seconds, we need to be doing everything we can to drive them to your other areas of conversation, where you can have longer conversations with them. So how do you know when you do a screen cap contest, like you've mentioned a couple times, how do you know how many screen caps are having? I'm having a hard time finding all these analytics on my Snapchat. I just got my little face to move up and down the other day as I put my little face in the octopus.
Oh yeah.
I think I just sent you my first ever tried to have a conversation with somebody.
No one uses that. I'll tell you, no, Rick, it does take a little bit of maneuvering, but once you get into it, you'll see there are some analytics. One is an eyeball. It's a purple eyeball.
Okay.
And the purple eyeball denotes a view. So if you have one purple eyeball or the number 1 next to your purple eyeball, it means one person viewed it. You can actually now swipe up and see the name of the user that viewed your snap. Now, as you get into the thousands, that'll change, and it'll say 1K, 5K, 10K, even 100 or 200K, depending on how many thousand viewers are watching.
Okay.
But you'll always know specifically how many people saw your snaps. There's a little green arrow that looks, it's kind of like an arrow this way and an arrow that way, and that's your screen caps. That number is significantly lower. Sometimes it may just be 0. But if you actually ask people to screen cap or give them something that's screen cap worthy.
Give them the call to action.
Give them that call to action. What I'll do often is, and I do this in my Periscopes and it helps dramatically, in the middle of a Periscope, I'll just say, all right, I'm going to make a ridiculously silly face. And of course, I'll hold up my URL or I'll hold up my Instagram name and I'll say, I want everyone to screen cap this and tweet it when we're done. Then I'll just look at the camera and go, here we go. They screen cap it. And then after my Periscope, I'll go on Twitter and there are just 100 photos of me with that silly face and my URL and my Twitter handle all over the place. So it's a great way to push people creatively to your other platforms. Instagram, great place to push people for Snapchat because the user fan base is about the same age. And you can say screen cap this and don't forget to put it on Instagram and tag me. And now you're going viral on another humongous platform.
Sure. So for those of you that aren't following Mark, it's MarkKaye. That's your Snapchat. Is that also your Instagram?
No, it is also my Instagram, MarkKaye. Okay. And then my Twitter and Periscope I couldn't get Mark K.
That's okay, because the cool part is you have a great website, so they can go to your website, and that has links to all of your socials.
That's correct, and that's also MarkKaye.com.
Good. So tell us, if you were managing an artist and you said, look, today's the day that I need you to go out and get 1,000 new Snapchat followers, what would be the best way, in your opinion, to get it? Using the other social media platforms to drive people to Snapchat?
Yeah, that's number one. Sean Doris, who I know you've mentioned and you worked with on American Idol, he and I talk a lot. And we, when I first started on Snapchat, he said, look, there's two ways that you can get a lot of viewers on Snapchat. The first is to be the first person on the platform, and the second is to have an existing audience and just push them to the platform. So if you have an existing audience, wherever it is, advertise your Snapchat. And again, there's no button. If you go to my Facebook, my Twitter, or my website, you'll see a huge banner that says, find me on Snapchat with my name.
Right.
Advertising your name is the number one. I get people following me every single day just because they saw my banner on Facebook, Twitter, or my website. That's number one. The other thing is collaboration. Collaborating on Snapchat is a huge way to go viral very quickly. So if you have other artists who have a lot of Snapchat viewers or other friends,
sure,
do a collaboration, do some kind of fun snap together. I've collaborated with Sean Doris tons of times. I've collaborated with Nick Jonas tons of times. I've collaborated with Logan Paul and Jake Paul, who are huge on Vine. And every time we collaborate on Snapchat, they shout me out, which means they go on their Snapchat and say, hey, everyone, I did this great interview with Mark Kaye. Go check him out. Here's his Snapchat. Well, all of a sudden, the 400,000 teenage girls who are following Logan Paul and Kevin Jonas flock to my Snapchat, and I get a ton of new viewers and new fans. So collaboration is the key to success on this platform. Collaborate with it. Anytime you go on tour, anytime you meet another artist, collaborate with them, and that's the fastest way to build your audience.
It's kind of what they did with YouTube as well. And then, I also consult Cimarelli, the Six Sisters, who are huge online, and they started off that way. So I always tell people, it's like, you guys all want to go for Sean Doris, and all these folks. You need to start someplace other than Sean Doris because you don't bring enough to the table yet. But I know a lot of these folks, if they see you're active, he may throw out a thumbs up to you. It's got to start organically. Just don't go to the top of the mountain.
It's nothing overnight. But if you get in and if you're consistent and you're creative and you're interacting with people, the word gets around. Word gets around. And I'm telling you, I've had girls. It's really, my wife freaked out. But I had a girl once. She wrote to me and she said, hey, I love your Snapchat show. And I just wrote her back and I said, thank you. And I drew like a little heart. And she sent me back a snap. She was crying. Actual tears, because she never thought she would hear from me. She'd never heard from a quote-unquote celebrity before. Right. And I thought to myself, this girl, for the rest of my life, no matter what, I could Snapchat my lunch every day, she's going to watch it.
That's right. She's going to favorite it or whatever the favorite thing is for Snaps. So Snaps is just watching. People watch it. That's the deal.
It's all about views. The more views you get, the better.
And there's no way for them to share?
Pardon me?
And there's no way for them to share it?
No, they can't share your actual Snapchat. What they can do is tell your friends or tell their friends to go add you.
Okay.
And I've had people do that all the time. They create a snap saying, you have to go add Mark Kaye. He's great. I did an election last year. And I said, hey, I'm going to, on Talkin' Snap, my first guest of the year is going to be one of you. It's not going to be someone who's famous. Sure. It's not going to be someone anyone knows. So if you want, you have to get your friends to vote. And what happened was everybody that wanted to be on the show was telling all their friends to add me, snap me. And so I was getting a ton of traffic just for this contest, for this political election. And I found two people that I actually interviewed on my Snapchat show at the beginning of the year. They were great interviews, and I got a ton of followers, not just from the election, but afterward, people were spreading it around because they were hilarious guys.
Awesome. Well, man, I appreciate you taking time to chat with us. Everyone needs to go at him, Mark Kaye. I'll put that up. Don't forget to go follow him on his other forms of social media as well. You're giving a lot of great advice. You're giving a lot of things, but a lot of times too, what I've tried to explain to people is go share people like Mark Kaye's stuff, because if you do it the right way through your Twitter, through your YouTube, through your Instagram, you're going to start getting seen by his followers as well. So a lot of times we look at this stuff and go, oh my gosh, this is so funny. This is so great. Retweet it, share it, like it, heart it. If you're on Periscope with them, tap the bejesus out of the screen. Give them all the hearts you possibly can. Absolutely. What a target. There you go.
There's plenty of room.
Absolutely. And it's not hard to find on the screen. So he's giving you everything you need to make this thing work. Also, too, if this is the first time some of you are seeing me, head on over to socialmediaformusic.com. I'll go ahead and give you a link. I have a free video that's just going to basically walk you through Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. If you're a musician, the store's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. This is the best time ever to be in the music business if you learn how to communicate. Everyone wants to buy. They just don't want to feel that they're being sold to. So if we can teach you how to engage an audience, a lot of what like Mark shared, we'll ultimately get them to hear your music, and we'll ultimately get them at some point, if your music's good enough, that they'll hopefully start sharing your music with other people. So thank you again, man. I really appreciate it. And we definitely need to do this again sometime.
Absolutely, Rick. Anytime. I'm right here for you.